Don't say this around Jude or Scott, but I've been nervous. They were going to be disappointed by their own wedding. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is Death by Pony and today we're hopping right back in to our life. So without further ado, let's go. You're right.
I'm sorry.
Jude, I'm sorry for making us both do so much so fast. It sucked. Hey, it wasn't that bad. Jude took Scott's hand and held it in between his own. He wore an easy smile and lightly brushed his thumb across his fiance's skin. If you still want the centerpieces, we should do it. I do. I kind of have a vision of the event. Jude's head fell back and he let out an affectionate laugh at that admission.
Yeah?
You do, huh? Who knew you'd get a kick out of designing a venue space? Next birthday, you're on deck for decorations.
That'd be cool.
Honestly, that'd be really cool. Jude gave his fiancée a light squeeze and then returned to the main conversation. Scott shifted his attention to Baxter in turn. I'll text you the shopping list.
That's wonderful.
Wonderful. And? Scott glanced at Jude and began chewing the inside of his cheek. He didn't have to say it. Clearly, he had one more idea. What? I thought of something else recently. Remember that year you rented a limo for your twin sister on their 18th birthday? Sure.
Well...
There's sort of a thing where people get married, arrive and leave in a fancy car, so I was thinking, what if we do that for our wedding too? Something like a classic Corvette, maybe. Jude's eyes widened in awe. The suggestion hit the nail on his curly head.
Seriously?
That. I want to do that. I'll call around and see if I can get it sorted. Today. Hell yeah.
My pleasure.
It's my pleasure. The couple beamed at each other. Jude gently cupped the side of his fiancé's face and Scott leaned into the touch. Thank you for thinking of that. You probably could have thought of it yourself if I hadn't given you 1,000 other things to worry about. I doubt it. I'm a shitty wedding planner. Besides, sounds to me like you're talking about yourself. I am?
Mm-hmm.
You've been so busy that you haven't even told Baxter about something important we've still got to schedule for the ceremony. Stunned, Scott searched for a shred of what Jude was talking about. Nothing could be grasped in his panic state. Jude decided to let him off the hook. We want to have a candle lighting ritual.
Perfect.
Oh, that's a delightful idea. We already have the candle for it. We've just got to make sure it doesn't get skipped. That was something we wanted for the both of us.
That's true.
Yeah, Jude's right. On all accounts, I can't believe I forgot that. Could you make sure the officiator doesn't forget? Sure, that's what I'm here for. And so you finally finished the day's intended discussion in a far livelier atmosphere than how it was at the office. Both Jude and Scott had an easier time with the process of vocalizing their thoughts when they were shooting the breeze than they did under the more professional interview. Baxter's improved party planning skills were impressive. He'd grown leaps and bounds. Even Terry and Miranda were pleased at how this meeting went. Against all odds, Baxter proved with a matter-of-fact days he was something that they could rely on for the wedding. Once the centerpiece details were exchanged, the group split into teams. Jude and Scott set off for home, and the remaining of you hit the road for the craft store. Although technically you all could have squeezed into Terry's van, Baxter unlocked his car with a beep. After confirming the location you were going to, he followed behind in his own vehicle. Once you arrived, you waited near the front of the craft store. Baxter must have gotten sick of the light, since it took another few minutes for him to show up. He gave a jaunty wave and spedly walked over.
Hello.
Hello everyone, I see we've gotten here safely. Pleasantries were had, and the gang pressed onward. Miranda broke away from the group in a clear mission in mind. She rolled an orange cart enthusiastically. Now, we're ready to go. Baxter grinned at her in return, but gave the line of carts a glance. We should take another. One cart is likely won't be enough.
Agreed.
Good call. You shrugged your shoulders and fetched a second cart. Every single candidate was the same sun-faded plastic. You took the nearest option. Excellent, let's proceed. Miranda led the way into the heart of the store, both carts clattering along the old squeaky wheels. She methodically started at the passing aisles.
What?
Oh, hey, Randy knows, but I've got to warn the rest of you. There's an all hands on deck kind of meeting this evening at work, so I can't make any of this stuff. After the drop off, I'm gone. Terry faced you with a sheepish expression, not entirely apologetic. You're gonna have to take my place in the crafting circle, James. You nodded along with the explanation. I understand. Thanks for warning. You're gonna miss out on a lot, though. I know. Centerpieces? That's the whole center of the event, but I've got no choice. That's totally fine. I appreciate both of you being here and helping us such as you have. Don't say this around Jude or Scott, but I've been nervous. They were going to be disappointed by their own wedding. She sighed and dropped down against her cart, head almost sticking out of the front basket. I know they would have been if it was only the two of them doing it. She straightened herself and offered a smile, first softly at Terry, then at you with a bright gratitude. I'm lucky I had reinforcements to call. Though when she turned to Baxter, she demurred.
Thank you.
You've been great to have on our side too, Baxter. Thanks for accepting the job. You didn't have to. Most planners wouldn't.
Gladly.
I do this gladly. Everyone has placed a lot of faith in me, and I wanted to honor that. Baxter fidgeted with his collar as Miranda kept her soft eyes on him. Terry chuckled. You are so sweet, Randy. Of course we're helping you. And we should get back to doing that. Time's a wasted. Oh yeah, sorry. Browsing resumed, and you began checking off the supply list. Scott sent a collection, had you going all throughout the building. Some items needed a real hunt. Does color, scent matter, or scent matter more for the candles? Because I'm only finding white candles in coconut.
Maybe?
Jude likes coconut at least, but I don't think that it fit a formal wedding. Terry, you're in the beach theme section. Coconut scented better than plain white candles. Maybe there's another store? You left it up to the others. Terry, you're in the beach theme section. Pointing to a sign plastered in the shelving above, you tried not to laugh. Terry's eyes widened at the obvious. That explains the sea breeze and pineapple option. I didn't notice either. Let's move down. Baxter nodded approvingly. Along the way, you spotted a floral section and a summer section, too. Don't skip on me. Was summer really that different from beach? Maybe in other places in Cali they were one and the same. But since the white candles of the proper variety were secured, the supply team moved on to the next items. Now having a better sense of how the store was laid out, it was quicker, and after a decent-sized pile-up accumulated in both carts, Baxter spoke up. We found more unique bits and bobs. If you don't mind, I'd like to leave the last of it in your capable hands. I think it'd be best if I could look into rental cars before it gets too late.
Yeah.
Right, of course. No worries, we get it. Go ahead. Terry ushered Baxter away with shooing motions. A car was more important than an extra body to throw fake flowers in a cart.
Very well.
Thanks, I'll be in touch soon. Oh, why is my voice cracking so bad? I'm all over right now. I'm up, I'm down, sideways. Sorry, I'm cold. It's very chilly here in California right now. At least for us who are not used to it being below like 60. It's like 58 out and no, not that cold. When it's below 70, I get cold. It's like 62 out right now and I am freezing. Miranda and Terry waved him off as he disappeared from aisle 12.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.
See ya. Good luck. We'll see you soon. With that, Baxter was gone, and your party was a trio. You and Miranda continued scooting the carts along white linoleum tiles of the aisle.
Oh.
So, Terry began as soon as you turned the first corner. He tilted his head questioningly. Are we friends with the other guy or what? Miranda laughed stiltedly, her nerves obvious as she looked around. No matter how much she craned her neck, Baxter did not seem to be well and truly gone. I'm only asking. He seems Baxtery to me like he always was. But I don't know what wedding planners do. Maybe they act all buddy with their clients. We're friends, he's just can't say so directly. I don't know. Hope we are. Not yet. I wouldn't say. Maybe soon. He shrugged. We should treat him the same either way. I don't know. Terry's expression tightened as he thought her words over. I guess we'll find out after the wedding. Until then, I'm gonna bet we are.
Well,
No matter what, I'm glad we got to see each other again. And not just because he's doing my brothers a huge favor. Terry's the one who always tried to get free rides out of him. Terry burst into laughter and couldn't deny the charge. It was nice to have other people to reminisce about Baxter with. He stepped into your life in a big way and then tried to erase himself completely. And it hadn't worked out, not for you or anybody else he'd met that summer. The marks he'd left on your memories were too bold. He'd never be able to be completely blotted out. He was part of your history, and now he was important to your present. But it was time to refocus the task ahead. Terry didn't have many minutes to spare, so you had to hurry. What else did you need to find again? You rushed up and down the entire store, the cart rapidly filling. Meanwhile, Baxter hung out on a bench at the front with his phone glued to his ear. He flung the fingers of his free hand whenever he noticed your group shooting past. He spied more flowers and booked it. When each decoration on the list was added to the mass, you approached Baxter, his phone still in grip but was no longer on a call.
How are you?
Hello, were you able to find everything? He inspected the cart, trying to visually sort through the chaotic lumps of stuff. Yep, think so. Everything except the chocolate fountain. You left it to the others to report. No, go back. That's not what I wanted to hit. Everything except the chocolate fountain. I'm making jokes. He gestured at your cart, which indeed, bereft of a fountain. His lips twisted wearily. What an unfortunate loss. You were sure that was entirely sincere. In no way sarcastic expression of remorse. My task is done too. I found a car that is to be the couple's taste. I texted it to them and got approval to rent it for the day. Cool. I was even able to do so legally this time. His tone was amusingly flippant. Oh yeah, during that summer he had pulled some shenanigans to get his car. Miranda and Terry, however, stared at him in concern. Don't worry, it's an inside joke. A smile pulled at your lips. You decided not to explain further. Miranda probably wouldn't imagine too extreme of illegal scenarios. Okay. Come on, let's pay for this haul. It's gonna take a while to ring up. The rest of the gang agreed, and you and Miranda drove your carts through the blessed empty checkout line. After several minutes of listening to the beep of items getting scanned, Miranda swiped her card. It was done. As you headed to the parking lot, Miranda checked her phone and frowned at the time. You yourself did a double take at how long the shopping had taken. Not again. The craft store was dangerous. Not again. The craft store is dangerous. Are you sure you have enough time to drop us off before work, Terry? No problem. I don't want to cause any trouble with your boss.
No way.
Don't worry, it's not like I can leave you here with 50 million decorations. Someone would have to be strapped to the roof of Baxter's ride to make everything fit.
okay.
Alright, thanks again for this. Hustling and stuffing various bags in Terry's car, it was fortunate his van had so much space, but even then it was filled up. Maybe you could hold some bags in your lap? Baxter noticed the conundrum and hummed at the mass of bags remaining in it, resembling the tentacle monster with the wind whistled by and the waves of the transparent plastic handles.
I can do that.
I can take the more delicate pieces and store them separately in my trunk. Jude Scott's home isn't ridiculously far from the city. I don't mind popping over there first. Thank you, but are you sure? You don't need to go through all that trouble. Hey, it sounds good to me. That'd be handy. Of course, let's pack them securely. Soon enough, the van was once again on the road with Baxter's car bringing up the rear. Does anybody remember how to get to Jude's home? Oh, well. She quickly pointed her finger to the right, only to earn a laugh for the effort. I'm kidding, but wouldn't it be funny if we got lost? I wonder if Baxter would follow us or keep his GPS directions. I think he'd follow us at first and then call if we got too off target. You have to work, remember, Terry? Plus, I'd rather not mess with Baxter, that's a bad idea. You're right. Speaking of right, here's my turn. Okay, red car, could you let me over? Thanks.
Oh, yeah.
I need to take the fast way anyways. Oh, come on, do you know how to drive? Terry drove back the rest of the way to home base with the occasional commentary of the abilities of the other drivers on the road. He noticed a few vanity license plates that made him wonder about the person behind the wheel. Miranda chimed in with the creative theories, usually that it was a secret code. The conversation flowed enjoyably easy between the two. Then you arrived. Baxter parked behind Terry's van. You nodded at him on your way to open the back of the car. Terry grabbed a bag and another, and Miranda put a bag on each finger, including her pinky. Not to be outdone, Terry threaded his hands through more plastic handles. Baxter made his own massive effort. You took a breath and gathered as much as you could manage. Everyone loaded up. Miranda led the coordinated shuffle to the door, and awkwardly bumped the doorbell with an elbow. There was muffled, melodic ding-dong, and the bell and then footsteps. Moments later, Jude answered. Your group, utterly laden with plastic shopping bags burst with silky petals, must have been a sight. Come on in. He scooted to the side and let everybody through. He maneuvered your bulky hoard carefully so it didn't bash into anything. Unfortunately, Terry got caught on the door handle. Oops. Jude darted closer and untangled the bags. Terry shrugged with an effort and slowly inched forward until he was completely inside. Is that everything? Nope.
On it.
I'm gonna go get some. He sidestepped around Terry and dodged Baxter to get outside. That was when you noticed Scott trying to usher everything into the living room. At this point, your arms were regretting taking quite so many bags. Superstitiously, you began eyeing any likely surface you could deposit them. The place was neater than before. The table had been completely cleared and the floor must have been vacuumed. Jude and Scott hadn't completely committed to taking a break. Scott directed the group to where the supplies should go. Quickly, you shed the weight and the others were only a breath behind you. Miranda subtly massaged her hands while Terry slumped against a wall. Jude returned with the leftovers, which was still a generous armful of stuff. Now that's everything. Did you guys need a lot of stuff? He wiped his brow dramatically as if coming from the car had been backbreaking labor. It would have been more of a joke if he wasn't actually breathing hard from carrying so much. Yep. Jude did not humor Terry's act and added his armful of bags to the pile. 2 cartfuls took a lot of space. Terry surveyed the scene, mentally checking things off, and nodded with approval. I leave this in your capable hands.
Thanks.
Bye, Terry. Thanks for doing this. Terry's such a good helper. Look at him. He's smiling so bad. I wanted to point at the screen. I gotta do it with the mouse. Look at his smile. He was so much frowns earlier, and I'm glad to see him smiling. Yeah, you're a good dude. Forget it. I'd never let Randy down. You two also. Miranda brightened at her ever chivalrous boyfriend. Good luck, Terry.
See you later.
He saluted the team and bounded out the door, slamming shut behind him, the chorus of goodbyes. In the wake of Terry's big exit, Miranda flopped onto the couch with a sigh. Jude immediately raised an eyebrow. Something happened, Randy? You can talk to us if something is wrong. Nothing, and you're busy. Scott looked at her face, creased with worry, but her expression didn't change. His gaze drifted over to you. He was sending please help me signals. Despite his silent plea for insight, there was none to give him. He had no idea what was wrong and was perhaps even more confused than he was. Miranda had seemed fine shopping. She was just joking in her car, but suddenly she deflated and dropped what you hadn't noticed to be an exaggerated smile. Scott's hopeful eye contact wasn't ending, and you didn't have a clue. You shook your head. Miranda was the only one who knew why Miranda was upset. Jude approached his little sister and tapped her shin with his foot. She pulled her legs onto the couch and curled into a ball. So he sat down heavily beside her and waited for her to get comfortable. Slowly, hesitantly, she began to speak. I just feel bad that Terry always does so much for me and my family. And he's a lot bolder than I am. He's amazing and can jump into anything. Terry's always been the one to take the initiative ever since we met. And do I ever do? Nothing. It's unfair. She hugged her knees tightly to her chest.
It's okay.
I think Terry understands. He's so outgoing, he can can't help but be involved in everything. You're different. Subtle acts can mean equally as much if they take the same effort. But what if I want to do something bold for a change? Jude snapped his fingers loudly enough to make you jump.
Got it.
You can propose. That's what Scott did. My big move was asking him to come live with me, but Terry beat you to that one already. What? She gaped at him, completely shocked out of her melancholy. Scott, however, was all in agreement. What if it happened at our wedding? It'd be a perfect place for a daring engagement. Yeah, that could work.
I see.
Wedding proposals are traditionally frowned upon. You both are quite gracious to suggest it. I didn't realize Baxter was still here. I thought he left. Baxter's tone was casual, if anticipatory. Miranda, however, gaped at him, and so did Jude. I forgot you were here, dude. Oh, forgive me for the surprise interruption. Randy's flushed with embarrassment and straightened her posture until she sat up properly. She hadn't realized she started the heart-to-heart with Baxter in the room either. Jude, you're 6 years older than me, and you're getting married right now. I'm not proposing to Terry. If I'm not overstepping, why not plan a trip to go away together? A nice vacation for myself and special someone after spending so much time focused on others would be an incredible gift. It doesn't have to be the equivalent of a honeymoon like Jude and Scott are having for it to be worthwhile. Simple does the job just as well. I'm not a travel agent, but you could think about a day trip or something somewhere overnight. There's some perfectly lovely possibilities. Miranda tapped the bottom of her lip, considering it. That's a fantastic idea. I can remember a few places that Terry has wanted to visit for ages. Most of them aren't that far. Slowly, her lips lifted into a grin. That spark of inspiration had relit her fire.
Let's do it.
I'll do it. I really will. I'm going to take Terry on a mini vacation. And with that, we're going to end that episode there. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, hit like. That way I know you're enjoying the content I'm making. Hit subscribe. That way YouTube brings you back Here's Happens Next. I won't take up any more of your time. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next time. Bye.